Hello, welcome to the Obi-Thorian Alliance. Hope you've been having a good day. In today's video, I'll be talking about what I've been watching during COVID. I'll be interested to hear what you've been watching during COVID as well. During COVID, on Netflix, I've been watching Snowpiercer, Away, The Sinner, Last Dance, and Lucifer. And The Sinner is an anthology series, so season 3 positively doesn't follow on, and the good thing about that is that the writers can do more with the story, but the negative side of it is that because of what's happened with season 2, they have kind of not followed the same formula, they have kind of changed it. What I can kind of see what they wanted to do, but it still doesn't feel as good. But I would still recommend the show in general because of the anthology and because of the style, because it keeps it fresh and exciting. And if it ends one day, well, it makes sense because it doesn't follow on from each other. And the show stars Bill Pullman as the detective, and he's the main character for each season. So if you like a good detective show, I'd highly recommend it. Also watching on Netflix during COVID is Lucifer. Lucifer originally got cancelled and then Netflix picked it up, and they've done season 4. And they also now have just dropped 8 episodes in season 5. Haven't watched season 5 yet, but season 4 was a superb season compared to season 1, season 2, and season 3. And I would highly recommend watching it if you haven't watched it yet. Lucifer is Morningstar is a very dynamic and interesting character. And I would highly recommend, since we're in COVID, to watch a different and dynamic show during this time. The show on Netflix that I've been watching during COVID is Away. Away is about 5 astronauts from 5 different countries: America, India, China, Russia, and Britain, trying to go to Mars on a 3-year journey. And we get to see family trauma, and it's not for everyone, but I would highly recommend it if you're into space, astronauts, and things like that. Snowpiercer on Netflix is separate from the movie. It's Netflix. They decided to make a TV show, and it's completely different from the movie. But I would say if you watch the movie, you might like it, you might not. How I enjoyed it was that I kept them separate in my head, and I think if you do that, you'll enjoy it a lot more. My main problem is that they start off with a murder mystery, and it kind of doesn't really hold anyway, and then it gets really good, very compelling. The cliffhanger was very compelling, very much looking forward to season 2. I would highly recommend it, probably more for people that haven't seen the movie and this is the first experience for the Snowpiercer universe. So during COVID on Amazon Prime, I've been watching Upload, The Boys, Absentia, Jack Ryan, and Bosch. And in Upload, basically the concept is it's set in 2035. So basically the human race have designed it that when you die, you can basically get your subconscious brain into like a heaven situation, similar solution when you can still live, and it's basically that your still alive but you're still dead. And it's quite interesting to see how that plays out and what happens with it. It's probably not for everyone, but I'd highly recommend it if you're into comedy and into those concepts and working out why the character, why it happens to us. Sentia is about FBI agent going missing for 5 years, and we presume the person that gets arrested for it did it, but basically she's been in a tub of water for quite a lot of years, and it's very suspicious, and it uploads into a bubble effect of intrigue and mystery to see who's done it. Did she do it to herself? And it's quite intriguing to see from season 1. It's a very interesting show, and I would highly recommend it. And it improves, it follows on quite well from season 2, and season 3 even gets better. I would highly recommend the show. Bosch isn't your typical detective show. Normal detective show focuses on the crime, solving the crime, has detectives have their usual story. Bosch mainly focuses on the story and then the cases, and the stories follow on from the season. It's still a typical detective show, but I highly enjoy Bosch. It has 5 seasons, and I would definitely recommend it if you're into detective show or just looking for a more heavy story orientated and still, instead of focusing on the case first and then the story. Of course, it focuses on the characters, and Bosch is quite an interesting character that does play by the rules, but by his way, and try to do it not by the books. But I would highly recommend it for police junkies. Jack Ryan. Funny enough, the actor that plays Jack Ryan is actually the actor that plays Jim out of The Office, and it's funny watching Jack Ryan first, the same actor playing Jack Ryan, to watching The Office when he's playing a funny role. But Jack Ryan is very intriguing watching the mysterious findings of the CIA and COVID ops and things like that, what happens in the world, and trying to find terrorists, and there's always the other bad guy to catch, and terrorists with their ways of dealing with things and their motives and trying to defeat the West and everything like that. I would highly recommend, if you like the actor from the Office, I believe it's John Konzinski or something like that. I would highly recommend it. The Boys isn't your typical superhero show. I would say it sometimes makes fun of the superhero shows. Superheroes. It's for any sort of person that would want to be intrigued to see what superheroes get up to with, you wouldn't think normal human beings would stand a chance, but somehow they do, and it's interesting to see how the superheroes were created and the mystery with all their interesting dynamics between each other, and also the boys as well. Are they morally correct, or what happens with them? I would definitely wholeheartedly give The Boys a watch out of all the Amazon shows that I'd recommend. During COVID on Stan, I watched Hannibal, Catch-22, Miracle Workers, Elementary, and The Office. Catch-22 is a World War II limited series based on American pilots, and the main pilot doesn't want to be there at all. And Catch-22 is a rule that if you find that you're unfit or you're mad, you can like leave the battlefield, and all throughout the show he just wants to leave, and he doesn't want to be there. So it's quite interesting seeing other people leave and stuff happen to. He just doesn't enjoy being in war, even though he's fighting for his country. But there's one line that I remember from a character is, happy, happy, dead. You're depressed, sad, 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 dead. Same thing, same destination, different outlook. And I would highly recommend Catch-22, and George Clooney is in it as well. He's very good in it. Also watching on Stan is Miracle Workers. Miracle Workers is an anthology series. It's a comedy show. What I actually think works. Daniel Radcliffe is in this show. The concept of season 1 is that God and all the jobs are looking down on Earth, and there's a bet that Daniel Radcliffe and the female character have to try and get a male and female to fall in love in a certain amount of time. And if they don't, God's gonna blow up the Earth because he wants to build like a food restaurant. So it's got a very interesting concept. Season 2 is a little bit hard to get used to because the characters change because it's an anthology series, but season 1 is a lot more interesting, I personally think, to season 2, so I'd highly recommend season 1. And if you like the show that much, might as well give season 2 a watch. Elementary, it's actually gone for 7 seasons, and I was up to season 6. And Elementary is on Stan, so thought it would be a good idea to finish off the show. And it has a reasonable ending. I would highly recommend the show if you're into Sherlock Holmes and that sort of character. The Sherlock Holmes show with Benedict Cumberbatch, I would probably say, is better than Elementary. The episodes go for longer, but it's easier to watch. I would definitely say Elementary is a fresher take on the character because Watson is a female. Check it out if you've also been watching The Office. When I first watched The Office in high school, I didn't really like it. I thought, oh, this is a strange show. And then I thought I'd give it a chance. Watched it from the beginning, and I've liked it a lot more. I would highly recommend it if you like comedy shows and in the workplace and things like that. And I think Dwight's a hilarious character. Jim's a likable. He's a pretty cool character. Just a bunch of likable characters. Not everyone's likable, but I think it's pretty good show. Especially if you like Stephen Carell, he's pretty cool in it. So I've been watching on Disney Plus is Star Wars: The Clone Wars Season 7, and for the last season, the CGI and everything on it was amazing, and the ending lead up very well into Rebels as well. And I would highly recommend it if you're into Star Wars, especially if you've been watching Star Wars Clone Wars from season 1 into the movie as well. And I would especially recommend it if you like the Clone Wars movie and the Revenge of the Sith movie as well. It fits in that timeline a lot more, and it makes sense, that jump from the 2 movies. So give it a check out, and I would highly recommend watching on Disney Plus. Thank you for watching. So that's what I've been watching during COVID. If you want more details or any more information about any of these shows, leave a comment and like in the comments above. Thank you for watching.